did KD leading the Suns to a win prove to you about Phoenix?
Well, for one, what we already know. KD can close games like no other. We talk about longevity with LeBron James. We talk about it with Stephen Curry. A lot of times we leave KD out the mix. This is a guy who's in his late 30s, still propelling teams to win. Can get a shot over anybody at any time. Big win in Denver last night without Devin Booker, who's probably, I don't want to say their best player, but maybe their most important player. They're dangerous. You know, this is a team that you don't want to see first round. We're talking about a team that's a pencil in or possible bubble team. They have shooting. Grayson Allen is having a career year. Eric Gordon can shoot the lights out. Royce O'Neal's been a very slept-on pickup, a guy who can guard in today's game 1 through 4. Nurkic has size and at least somebody who can bang around with Jokic down there. And then obviously at the helm you have Kevin Durant, Brad Beal, and Devin Booker. This is a team that has firepower, and in the playoffs when the game slows down and you need guys who can get a bucket on their own, they have 3 of them. Yeah. Brad Beal has to continue to find his way and find his fit. I always like to compare him to Ray Allen, that team in 08 to Boston. He was a guy who was his own show when he was with Milwaukee and in Seattle, but then when he went to Boston was able to figure out a way to get shots off the catch and shoot. I think Brad needs to be a guy who can do his ISO stuff, but needs to continue to do stuff more catch and shoot and play through Kevin and Devin. This is a team that you don't want to see early on.
Yeah, I've said this a ton this season, and I said it yesterday on the show when we talked about the Suns. One of the issues when you decide to build a super team is that you are giving up some roster flexibility and depth. And so this team was always going to struggle in the win-loss column if one of these guys got hurt. Kevin Durant has missed 7 games. Booker now has missed 12 games. Bradley Beal has missed 29 games. They just haven't had the depth. Austin brings up Royce O'Neal. Look, their top 7, I put their top 7 against almost any team in basketball. When we talk about Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Eric Gordon, Royce O'Neal, and the big 3, they all complement each other. You can look at lineup data, right? And of any 5-man lineup that has played over 250 minutes together, they have one of 5 of those lineups that have outscored opponents by more than 10 points per 100 possessions. They are a good team when they're healthy. They're an absolutely good team. The other thing that I like about their team right now, assuming health in the playoffs, they can play a number of ways. So they can play big with Nurkic, use him as a hub offensively. I think he's had an outstanding season. They can go small with Kevin Durant at the 5 and just outshoot you. Grayson Allen has been a perfect complementary player. He's having a career year, leading the NBA in three-point percentage, had another big night last night. This is a really good basketball team. And we spend so much time talking about the Lakers. We spend so much time talking about the 4 best teams in the Western Conference. We should not be overlooking the Phoenix Suns when it comes to real playoff runs and real playoff contention. They are a damn good basketball team.
But isn't that what happens? Like when the Boston Celtics put together the big 3, it was this phenomenon, right? We felt like, okay, we hadn't really seen anything like this. You get these superstars that come together to win a championship. And then when we saw it in Miami, we threw a parade before they earned an actual parade. And so even in seeing Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, D-Book all get together, there was that initial excitement, but we've now learned that we have to wait and see. And like you said, JJ, there were so many injuries, especially Bradley early on in the year. He couldn't get on the court. And so when I watch basketball, to me, it's about chemistry, right? Like the beauty in the motion of offense, and when the ball doesn't touch the ground, when everybody get opportunities to get their shots, you can't develop that if you don't get time together. And to me, when you ask the question, what did they show us by winning last night, is that when KD wants to, like, he's unstoppable. Right? When KD makes a decision to get his buckets, he could get those. But my question is, when you look at these lineups, when you say when they go big with Nurkic, can they score enough? Who is having a great year? If you go small with Kevin Durant, can you get enough stops in order to win against what you guys both say is elevated competition in the playoffs? This team isn't going to be judged by how many regular season games they can win. So my question to you guys both is, how much of a championship contender are the Phoenix Suns right now?
I would say this. The depth of talent in the league right now is spread across multiple teams. That felt like to me in 08, and I was in my second year, that the depth of talent was so concentrated amongst a couple teams.
Okay.
Even when the Miami Heat first got together, it felt like the depth of talent was concentrated amongst few teams. We saw 4 straight years with the Warriors Cavs.
Right.
It was almost a foregone conclusion, particularly in the Eastern Conference, that the Cavs were going to come out. And then Kevin Durant goes to the Warriors. It was a foregone conclusion they were coming out of the West.
Right.
There's no foregone conclusion right now in the NBA because the depth of talent is spread across multiple teams. And that's why having a deeper rotation matters.
Right.
That's why having a deeper rotation matters in the NBA right now. I look at the Phoenix Suns as a title contender. They're not in my tier 1.
Right.
Maybe they're towards the bottom of my tier 2. We brought up the Boston Celtics, by the way, and their struggles at times in the fourth quarter with stagnation on offense. The Phoenix Suns have been the worst fourth quarter team in the NBA all season. And to me, it's some of that
same thing?
It's some of that default to ISO ball. It's that default to ISO ball.
Well, you have such good players, man. How hard is it not to say if you're a coach or if you're like the
Give the
other
ball
guy
to
on the
Kevin
court,
Durant.
go home get this rock. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is hard because we've seen him come through in times, or so many times, him and Devin. But I referenced the Ray Allen with Brad just because this is a new situation for someone like Brad Beal. He's always been the best player on his team. Now he's not the first nor second option. This is a whole new field for him. That's why I referenced the Ray Allen thing because this is now something for him to fall back on and become more of a catch-and-shoot player.
Is he that sort of shooter, though? Like
can shoot
Ray
the
Allen
ball.
is one of the greatest shooters of all
I'm not saying
time.
he's Ray Allen, but he can. I mean, we saw last night, even though he struggled, he hit big shots. And I also believe, Devin Booker had to, we talk about assists this year. He blew everybody out the water in terms of seeing his capability of playing the pick and roll. So we'll see.
Brian, if you look at Bradley Beal's shot profile early in his career, when he was playing with prime John Wall, he was shooting well over 40% on catch-and-shoot threes.
Yeah.
Towards the end of his tenure in Washington, the vast majority of his threes became about self-creation and off-the-dribble threes and tougher shots.
Right.
He's in a position now as that third option where he can rely more on that catch-and-shoot three rather than self-creation.
Got you.
I do want to mention, because JJ, you were talking about their fourth quarter struggles. They remain last in points differential, net efficiency, offensive efficiency, and assist to turnover ratio in the fourth quarter of the season. Austin, how deep of a playoff run do you think this Phoenix team can make?
Well, unfortunately for them, if they are in the play-in, they're going to end up matching up with like a Denver or something like that first round. So if that's the case, I don't know how deep they can go. I think these last set of games for them is vital.
Yeah.
We talked about it. They have the toughest schedule remaining. They got a big win in Denver last night. If this team can close out strong and get a little bit better seeding where they're playing some of these middle-pack teams, they could make a run. At the end of the day, we all know how the playoffs goes. The game slows down. It gets more physical. We got guys who we've seen done it before. Kevin Durant, however you like it, has won championships.
Yep.
He's been there. We have guys with playoff experience. Devin Booker went to the finals. We have Eric Gordon, another seasoned player. They have players who have been in the playoffs, vets who know how to play. They have multiple, like you said, ways to finish games with lineups. They can go small and switch, or you can go big with Nurkic, depending on who they're playing. They have shooting that could spread the floor. And in the playoffs, you got to put the ball in the basket. The game's going to slow down. You're not going to be getting all these fast break points. That's why we talked about Milwaukee earlier, how important it is for Dame to be there because they got a closer with Giannis because his inability sometimes to get in the paint. They got guys who can make tough shots time and time. I don't know. I think they can win. Yeah. If they run into Denver.
And that's the other thing, too. Like, when you look at the top of the West, they're so tight, right? OKC, Minnesota, Denver. Like, you don't know which of those teams you'd play, but obviously getting the matchup against Denver early seems like a definite.
Right.
Well, yeah, you can't have that.